Hello everybody, Sticks here at the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today at the request of Daddy Steel, we have a deck centered around Aegislash in conjunction with Trevenant Break, both from Breakpoint, to kind of wrap up a week that has turned out to be all about the Breakpoint cards and the breaks from Breakpoint more specifically. But anyway, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It really helps us out a lot and allows us to do more for you guys. Also, just a quick note, as I'm sure you've noticed, I have been uploading videos on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. That was really just to try to get as many decks out after the release of Breakpoint as possible. Going into next week, I will be returning to my regular upload schedule of Tuesday, Thursday, so that's just something I wanted to let you guys know. But onto the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Aegislash from Breakpoint. 140 HP Psychic with Painful Sword and Megaton Slash, and this deck is actually centered around the Painful Sword attack, although in a pinch Megaton Slash can be nice. But Painful Sword for 3 energy, colorless, doesn't really matter what type, double the number of damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So this is a Pokemon that you will not be using early game at all, and late game you can just kind of clean up with one fell swoop. I actually ended up taking 5 prize cards in one turn from one attack with Painful Sword with this deck when I was trying it out. But so onto the Pokemon, we are running 2 Shaman just for the setup ability. I mean, that's really it. A 2-on-2 of Honedge, Doublade, and Aegislash, just because, I mean, like, you really, this isn't the main attacker. I mean, it's what the deck is centered around, but this is a late game cleaner at best. You're going to want to be using Painful Sword once, maybe twice at the most. So I mean, you really don't need to be attacking this thing. It's just kind of there to be like, hey, you know what? You have a ton of damage. Well, it's all doubled, and I get a ton of prize cards this turn. Pairing that with the Trevenant Break, we are running a 4-4-3 line of the Phantump, Trevenant, and Trevenant Break. We're using the Phantump from Breakpoint just because it has the Ascension. If you go second, you can actually evolve Phantump first turn, which is phenomenal. And with the Dimension Valley, you don't even have to have an energy on it. So that is great, and we are pairing it with the Trevenant from the XY set with the Forest's Curse. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any item cards from his or her hand. So I mean, it's basically a lock deck to try to get as much damage on your opponent as possible for Aegislash to clean up late game. And while this Trevenant does have the Tree Slam for 3 energy, hits for 60, and does 20 to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, I mean, that has some nice synergy with the Aegislash, but really what we want to focus on is not the Wobbuffet, but the Trevenant Break with the Silent Fear for 2 energy, put 3 damage counters on all of your opponent's Pokemon. So I mean, just using Silent Fear twice with Dimension Valley, you can actually attack for 1 Psychic Energy, and using Silent Fear twice, you're putting 60 damage on all of your opponent's Pokemon. Use Painful Sword, all of a sudden all of those 60s become 120s, and if you use Silent Fear 3 times, you are hitting for 180. Oh, you're turning that 90 damage into 180 with Aegislash, which knocks out all the EXs, which is just fantastic. So I mean, you want to attack as many times as you can with Trevenant Break, and as soon as you're in a good point to just finish up the game with 1 Painful Sword, just send in Aegislash and kill everything. We are using 1 Tech Wobbuffet just to kind of like help with the stalling a little bit, and also have a backup attacker because we will be spreading around so much damage with Trevenant Break. Wobbuffet Psychic Assault for 1 Psychic Energy if you have a Dimension Valley is a great just kind of tech attack if you really need it. And also, I mean, the shutting down the abilities is also very nice too. Just to point out, I've done this a couple times because I'm not used to playing with Wobbuffet. If you have Wobbuffet active, don't try to play a Shaman. It doesn't work, and you just end up looking stupid, and you have a hand, and you end up with a hand with no cards in it. So don't do that, folks. Learn from my mistakes. As for the items, we are running 2 Level Ball just to get some more Phantom Bow and maybe like a Doublade and a Honedge, I mean, for late game. You don't want to run too many of these just because there's only a couple Pokemon that you can get with them. 1 Rare Candy just for late game to evolve Honedge straight into the Aegislash. I mean, we are running 1 Doublade and a 2-1-2 line. So you have 2 ways of getting an Aegislash out there, but Rare Candy just helps with that. Super Rod in case you discard too much energy or you have to discard a couple Trevenant Break or something like that. One switch because even though our Pokemon do have the Mystery Energy to help with the retreat cost, they are still very, very heavy. Aegislash has 3, and I believe Trevenant has the same. So, I mean, getting them into the active really can hinder what we're able to do, so that's why we're running a switch in there. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Seeker to reuse our supporters. 1 Judge, you don't want to really use this early game because it disrupts you as well, but you want to use this to disrupt your opponent, that way you're able to get off more Silent Fear attacks. 1 Lysander, you really don't necessarily need Lysander. In this deck, it is really just more of a stall tactic. I mean, it's just allowing you to get more attacks off and putting an opponent's Pokemon active that they need to attach a couple energy to, because, I mean, you're just spreading damage around and then using Aegislash to just double the damage, so you're not attacking anything directly. So that's why you only need 1 Lysander. 3/3 of Birch Sycamore just for draw support. 1 fan service, just, I mean, if you need like a rare candy or a Floatstone or a Dimension Valley or something like that, it's always nice tech to have. 1 Wally, just, I mean, to evolve Phantump first turn. Like, if you go first and you want to shut down your opponent's items immediately, you can actually use Wally just to immediately get up a Trevenant. Or, I mean, even late game, it's nice just to get another Trevenant break out or an Aegislash or something like that. 1 Xerosic to help with the disruption, gets rid of special energy. If your opponent, like, if your opponent's on item lock and they try to power up with special energy, then you can just shut that right down. 4 Dimension Valley, we want to run the absolute maximum number possible, just because, I mean, it helps every single one of our attackers. Aegislash can use Painful Sword for only a DCE, Wobbuffet and Trevenant Break can use their attacks for only a Psychic Energy, so you want to run the max possible Dimension Valleys in this deck. 2 Floatstone, really just to help Trevenant Break get out of the active, or Aegislash or something like that. I mean, that's the item I'm going to go with, just because Aegislash doesn't need any help boosting its damage output, and to be honest, neither really does Trevenant, because, I mean, it's all just kind of set damage that they're doing. So Floatstone was the best item to help with that hefty retreat cost as well. 4 of the Mystery Energy, again, to help with the retreat cost. We have a bunch of heavy Pokemon, so, I mean, that's why that's there. Only 3 DCEs, just because, I mean, Aegislash is the only one that really uses it. I mean, in a pinch, I guess Trevenant can use it for Tree Slam, but you'll want to be using Silent Fear more often than not. And then 4 regular Psychic Energy, just, I mean, because regular Psychic Energy, and that's what my Pokemon need to attack. But anyway, that is it for the deck, and let's just go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Snow Dead 01 with a Fighting and Water deck, so I wonder what type of deck my opponent is using. We do get to go for the coin flip. We do get to go first. Do you want to go first? Yes, indeed, I do. Yeah, that's what I want to do. We start off with a Phantump and a Trevenant, so I mean, that's pretty solid, actually. Let's see what my opponent is running. It looks like, okay, so it's a Karina deck. We will be able to shut off items very quickly, so that is actually really nice. We will be able to shut off the rare candy if it is a Garchomp deck, which indeed it is, so that is great for us. My opponent mulligans a couple times. Wow, mulligans 3 times, so I mean, it might just be a pure Garchomp deck, I'm not sure. But wow, 4 times, so I mean, my opponent cannot seem to draw anything right now. He's probably, okay, so he does start, and we have something decent that we can work with, actually. I'm sure the 4 mulligan cards will help a ton. Yes, 2, 3, 4, and let's see what we can get. Okay, we get a Sycamore and an Aegislash. Okay, so we see the Lucario immediately. I'm going to go ahead and level ball for another Phantump, because this one is more than likely going to go down this turn. Let's go ahead and level ball for a... do I want to do a Hone Edge? Yeah, that way I can play the Doublade onto it. Let's go ahead and play this here. Let's play the energy onto this Phantump on the bench. And I think I'm going to end my turn right there, because I don't want to Sycamore away my stuff, just because, I mean, I have so much good stuff going on. We do see the strong energy, so this Phantump will die turn 1. So, I mean, that stinks a little bit, but I will be able to go into the Trevenant next turn, and assuming, I hope he doesn't have a Lysander. We do see a Remoraid right there, because if he has a Lysander, then that would set me back quite a bit. We do see the Focus Sash onto the Lucario. He does get a first turn KO, but that is okay, just because we can send in this Phantump and we will be able to hit for a Tree Slam this turn. We have 2 Aegislash in hand. That is not what you want to see. I'm going to go ahead and play the Trevenant down, attach a DCE to it, play this here, and then I'm going to Zero Sick away the strong energy from the Lucario, just because I won't be able to one-shot it anyway, and then I'm going to go for a Tree Slam to get 120 on the Lucario and then 20 onto the Remoraid, and my opponent just scooped, so that was very, very quick first battle. I mean, I wasn't really able to do much of anything. I just disrupted my opponent, like the item lock probably just had him completely shut down, and the Zero Sick came through, being able to get rid of the energy to where Lucario just couldn't attack, but that is obviously not going to really count, so let's just go ahead and try to find another one. Alrighty, we have found one against Chris 89413 with a Psychic Fairy deck, so it's probably Mega Mewtwo Y with Fairy Acceleration, I would guess. He does get to call the coin flip. Let's see, do we get to go first? I'm waiting. I don't know. It's a very big decision. I mean, you have to put a lot of thought into whether you want to call heads or tails, because I mean that determines the game right there. I mean, it really does. We do win the coin flip. Tails coming through for us again. So we will want to go first. I mean, it's not. I mean, usually you can get your opponent's item lock first turn. Okay, so we do get something that we can actually kind of work with. Yeah, we get a Phantump, and then a Trevenant, and a Trevenant break. Depending on what my opponent starts with, if he starts with a Xerneas, then I will attach to the active... I will attach to the active Phantump. If not, I will attach to the one on the bench, just because I don't want the Phantump to go down. And it's a Mega Gardevoir. Okay, so we see that. What I am going to do is attach an energy to this one. Go ahead and Ultra Ball away this, and actually, as much as I hate to do it, I will get rid of the Trevenant break to grab a Shaman. Where is it? Yes, let's see. Okay, 2 Aegislash, I have the Doublade, and I have 2 Honedge. Okay, and then I have 2 other Trevenant break in my deck, along with... Okay, so I think 1 Trevenant must be prized. Okay, so that's good to know. I don't think there is a way that he can knock out Phantump this turn. Let's go ahead and do this. I can actually Wally this turn, so let's go ahead and do that to shut down my opponent from having items. And I think I'm just going to end the turn right there. I can evolve the Trevenant I can evolve the Phantump on the bench next turn, and then I can play a Honedge down. Okay, so my opponent does just Lysander in the Shaman. Okay, so he does that to get some, I guess, to stall me a little bit. Wasn't able to get anything off the max elixir, so that's unfortunate for him. If I can somehow get, if I get an energy, what do I want to do this turn? I'm not sure. I think I just have to kind of hope for an energy that I can attach to the Shaman so I can retreat, or a Float Stone or something like that. So my opponent just does go for the Hoopa, so it's a, looks like it's a Mega Gardevoir Aromatisse deck, I think. So yeah, I mean, it's just looks like a straight Mega Gardevoir Fairy Acceleration deck, and then the only Psychic type is Hoopa. Although I could be wrong, it could also be a Mewtwo deck, and he only grabs a Shaman and a Xerneas. That's interesting. I would think you would want to put a little bit more on your bench just for the battle. Okay, so he does go for the setup right there. At least he was forced to use Lysander as his supporter for the turn. So I mean, I guess that's something. Alright, so he does Super Rod those back into his deck, and he's just probably going to go for a Life Leap right now, just to get, I guess, a little bit of damage on the Shaman. But that is okay. We get a Honedge, so I can do that, play the Trevenant there. 1 sec. Sorry about that. I may sound better, but my cough is still making sure that I am alive and well. I do see a Float Stone that I can put onto the Shaman, and then retreat into the Trevenant, go for a Dimension Valley, and then I don't necessarily want to play another Doublade down, but what I can do is put this onto the Trevenant, and I think I'm just going to straight up go for a Tree Slam this turn. Yeah. And then get some damage off onto the Spritzy and the Shaman. That way I can, if I get a Trevenant break next turn, I can knock it out. If not, no big deal, and hopefully my opponent doesn't have another Lysander, because that would be very unfortunate. He does have the Aromatisse, so he will be able to move some energy around. Okay, so he has a Sycamore in hand, so I mean my opponent actually had a very good hand given the item lock that we are putting on him right now. He even gets rid of our Dimension Valley, which is unfortunate, but I mean it's nothing we can't handle, and he's just going to go for the Geomancy this turn. Really, I just want to spread as much damage around as possible. I might end up Lysandering in the... Depending on what I draw, I might end up Lysandering in the Aromatisse. That way I can just knock it out with something next turn. I do get... Okay, so let's play that there. Let's go for... Get rid of that. Go for the Dimension Valley. I think I want to Lysander in the Aromatisse, just because, I mean, that's really his engine for the deck. Do I want to do that? Because, I mean, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm going to actually Lysander in the Hoopa, because that forces him to have a Fairy Garden. Then let's go for a Shaman to get some more cards, hopefully get a Trevenant break. We do not. That stinks a little bit, but isn't the worst thing in the world. But what I can do is Level Ball, go for another Phantump to get that onto the bench. And then I can hit the Hoopa for super effective damage, and I'm just going to play this energy onto the Trevenant on the bench. I want to save the Mystery Energy in case my Doublade gets Lysandered up. That way I can retreat. Let's go for the Tree Slam, get some more damage onto the Gardevoir and the Aromatisse, I think. Yeah. Let's do that. Super effective on the Hoopa. If he has a Fairy Garden, he'll be able to switch out no matter what next turn. Just because, I mean, he will be able to Fairy Transfer onto the Hoopa and just retreat out. But, I mean, that's something that we can just work with. We see the Fairy Transfer. I don't... Okay. So it looks like he has the Fairy Garden, I think. Unless he... Okay, so he just decides to take the turn to Mega Evolve Mega Gardevoir. We do see that happen. I'm going to play this energy onto the Doublade on the bench, and then go for a Professor Birch's Observations. There we go. Get heads, that is great. Hopefully get a Trevenant break. We do not. Oh man, we can't get a Trevenant break at all. But we will be able to take 2 prizes this turn, and then I will be able to almost set up a Gardevoir next turn. Actually, I'll be able to use a Wally next turn and go for a Silent Fear on all of my opponent's Pokemon. I think I'm just going to hit there and there. Already we knock out the Hoopa, and then we take 2 prizes. We have a full setup on the bench. It unfortunately doesn't necessarily look like we'll be able to use whatchamacallit this turn. We won't necessarily be able to use... Actually, we might. If I get a Trevenant Breakout, I can get 30 damage. I can get 30 damage on everything. I do have 2 Wallies to where I would be able to get one out. And then I also have Psychic Energy in my hand. Brilliant Arrow will be able to... Okay, so he does just go for the Shaman to get 2 prizes. That is okay with me. I think I'm in a very, very good position to get the game somewhat wrapped up. So he goes for a VS Seeker. Let's see what supporter he wants to get. He knows he's not going to be able to use supporters next turn, or he's not going to be able to use items. So he does just go for the Brilliant Arrow. Huge overkill on my Shaman. That is not the end of the world. we're just going to promote a Trevenant, and I think I'm going to Wally this turn, actually. Actually, let's go ahead and Super Rod back in the Shaman and the Trevenant break, just because I want the best chances of grabbing it. Let's go ahead and VS Seeker for the Wally. Yes. And then let's get a Trevenant break out there onto this guy. And then I will play the Psychic Energy onto the Doublade on the bench, and play the Float Stone onto this Shaman. Even if he has a Lysander, it's not that big of a deal. And then I'm just going to go for a Silent Fear to get some more damage, knock out the Aromatisse, limit his fairy transferring abilities, and we are down to 3 prizes. So I actually might be able to use Aegislash this game, maybe. If I can get one more Silent Fear off, then I will definitely be able to. Actually, I think next turn he will be able to knock out this Trevenant break regardless. And then I can send in this Trevenant, go for a Tree Slam to get some more damage on something, and then I think I'll be able to finish up the game with Aegislash. If I have my... Okay, so he does just knock this guy out. Not a big deal. I can just send in this Trevenant, play a... Oh, I do get an Ultra Ball, so that is great. I can get rid of the Level Ball and the Rare Candy to grab a Trevenant break. Go ahead and play this onto this guy. Let's go for a Wally to get an Aegislash. That way I can win the game next turn. Yes, Aegislash, put that there. And then I think I'm going to hold on to all of my energy, I think. Or I'll go ahead and play this onto this Trevenant just in case. Yeah, let's do that, and then let's go for a Silent Fear. Put a bunch of damage on my opponent to where Trevenant, to where Aegislash will be able to clean the game up next turn with a Painful Sword. Hopefully my opponent will let me do so. If not, I will be very upset. But I mean, like, this was a perfect setup for Aegislash to be able to take the game, and it's just a matter of whether or not my opponent lets me take that final prize. Goes for Birch's Observations. I think we have a guaranteed win. Yeah, I think we definitely do, because he can't Lysander in the Aegislash or the Shaman. He does get a Fairy Garden, so that's a bit unfortunate, but doesn't matter too much. I would actually be able to take 5 prizes next turn. Just because, I mean, I'd be able to double the Mega Gardevoir, double on the Shaman, double on the Spritzy, and just take out all of those Pokemon. Unless he can... Okay, so he's just going for a Breakthrough. That is unfortunate. He's taking out the other Trevenant. So if I can... Okay, so I actually need a... I need a Dimension Valley if I want to win with Aegislash this turn, which I do get. Judge my opponent down to 4. Let's go ahead and retreat with Trevenant. Sorry about that. Let's retreat into the Aegislash, play the Dimension Valley, and then win this game with a Painful Sword. And that will be the game. Take the last 2 prizes, knock out the Shaman, knock out the Spritzy, and Aegislash was able to take the game home with a 5-prize final turn, even though we only needed a couple. So the deck actually worked perfectly that turn. I was able to do a ton of damage with Aegislash. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous how much we were able to do. It's a perfect setup with Trevenant Break, and I mean, this deck is actually kind of consistent in what it's able to do, just because, I mean, Trevenant shuts off items to where your opponent can't really get anything going allowing you to be in that type of position more often than not. So I mean, this is a very fun deck. Thank you Daddy Steel, for bringing this to my attention. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. That's going to be the deck. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Thank you again for watching, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.